Hi everyone. Yesterday was my birthday. My sister came in from New York to spend the weekend with me and brought her kids along. I'm not big on birthdays, but I figured I'd do something small and at least spend time with my family. My sister arrived Friday night with the intention of spending the weekend. I live on the 3rd floor. Her kids woke up at 6 a.m. Saturday morning and were running in my small 3-bedroom apartment. She also has 2 teenagers who left my bathroom messy and out of order. They were also leaving lights on, turning on the heat without notifying me, running up the light and electric bill. I gently pointed these things out to her and told her that we're on the 3rd floor and out of respect for the neighbours downstairs should try to keep things quiet. I should point out that I have no kids and enjoy this aspect about my life. I don't hate kids and enjoy being around the children in my family, but I do get annoyed when kids are unruly and disrespectful, related or not. Anyways, she packed her things and made it seem like we were all good, said she was staying at my other sister's house and coming back the following day so that we can celebrate my birthday on Sunday. She gave me no indication that she was upset about anything I said or did during her time here. The next day I got a measly HBD text and she was a no-show. She did not come to my home and left back to New York from my sister's home. I responded thank you, but then later found out that she was upset that I asked her to control her children while in my home. My mother eventually told me why she was a no-show for my actual birthday the following day, and I texted her and let her know that moving forward, when she comes into town, that she should stay at my sister's. She tried to act like she was unaware about what was going on, but I couldn't really give a shoot. The damage is done. Am I in the wrong for asking her to rein in her kids while they're in my home? I ended up spending my birthday alone with zero family, all because of a misunderstanding. Maybe it was deserved. Edit, wow, didn't expect for this to get any views or comments. Thought I should add some more info since some of the comments requested a bit more to make a proper assessment of whether I am a jerk. The kids are aged 13, 14 and 3. The 3-year-old is very rambunctious, while 13 and 14-year-olds are always on their phones and leave messes everywhere they go. I could tell whether they were in a room or not after they left the room, depending on the condition of said room. My other sister's 2-year-old was also there. My neighbour just came in from a work trip Friday night and was most likely jet-lagged and tired. I wanted to be respectful of that. I just moved in on the 1st of November. I am broke and on a tight budget. Edit 2. I just want to say thank you to everyone who offered their 2 cents and really tried to play devil's advocate without getting their personal feelings involved. For the record, I do not hate kids. I just personally decided to not have any because I grew up in a dysfunctional family and did not want to pass that on. I still have a lot to work on and have learned a lot from this post, from childcare to healthy communication tips, etc. Although I mostly got not the idiot votes, I will still be apologising and reaching out to make sure we are on good terms moving forward. She will always be welcomed, but there are rules to follow in my home just like there are in all of your homes. Thanks again for your responses. Happy holidays to you and your homes. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. First and foremost, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I wish you all the best. Make a wish. Make. Second, not the idiot. There are so many stories like yours on here. Parents acting entitled about their children's behaviour wherever they go. Sadly, there often are enough other people within the family who will enable them and chastise the one speaking up. You did nothing wrong here. Stay strong and hold your boundaries. Comment 2, not the idiot. The teenagers especially are old enough to know to be respectful of a home that's not theirs. It's normal for you to ask that your boundaries be respected. Now for the update. So it's been a week since the whole birthday fiasco with my sister and her kids, and let me tell you, it's been a ride. After she bolted back to New York, I was left feeling pretty low. I mean, spending your birthday alone because of a spat with your sister isn't exactly the highlight of the year, but I've always been the type to try and make lemonade out of life's lemons, so I didn't let the situation keep me down for too long. I spent the next couple of days doing some serious thinking. I replayed the weekend over in my head trying to figure out if I was too harsh or if there was a better way I could have handled things. I mean, I get it, her kids are, well, kids, and they can be a handful. But I also believe in respecting someone's home, and I guess I just expected her to get that without me having to spell it out. After a lot of back and forth in my head, I decided to reach out to my sister. I sent her a text, keeping it light, asking how her trip back was and how the kids were doing. She responded, and it was a bit cold at first, but we slowly started to get back into our usual rhythm of texting. I didn't bring up the birthday incident right away. I figured it was best to let the dust settle a bit more before diving into that conversation. Meanwhile, I had a chat with my neighbour downstairs. I apologised if the noise from my niece and nephews disturbed them that weekend. They were surprisingly cool about it and mentioned they barely heard anything. That was a relief. At least I hadn't caused any trouble there. A few days later, my sister and I finally had the talk. It was over the phone, and it was tense, to say the least. She told me she felt judged, and that I didn't appreciate her making the effort to come see me. I explained my side, how I was just trying to maintain some order and respect for my neighbours. It was a bit of a back and forth, but eventually we both cooled down and started to actually listen to each other. I apologized for making her feel unwelcome, and she apologized for not being more considerate of my space. We agreed that next time we'd set some ground rules beforehand to avoid any misunderstandings. It was a good conversation, and I think we both came out of it understanding each other a bit better. As for the kids, well, I decided to take a different approach. I called them up individually and talked to them. I didn't want them to think I was the grumpy aunt who didn't want them around. We joked about the weekend, and I made sure to tell them that they're always welcome at my place. I think it helped mend fences because they seemed genuinely excited to come over again, with the promise of being more mindful of my house rules. The rest of the week was pretty uneventful. I went back to work, caught up on some bills, and started to get my budget back on track. I've been trying to save up for a little getaway, and despite the birthday setback, I'm still determined to make it happen. And then, just yesterday, I got a surprise package in the mail. It was from my sister. Inside was a belated birthday gift and a card. The card had a heartfelt message, apologizing again and expressing her hope that we could put this all behind us. It was a really nice gesture, and it made me feel like we were finally moving past the whole ordeal. So, here I am, a week later, feeling hopeful. My relationship with my sister seems to be on the mend, and I've learned a valuable lesson in communication and setting boundaries. Sure, it wasn't the birthday I had planned, but in a way, it's given me a chance to grow and strengthen my family ties. I guess sometimes it takes a bit of chaos to appreciate the calm. And who knows, maybe next year's birthday will be a bit more peaceful, or at least a bit more organised. For now, I'm just looking forward to a quiet weekend, catching up on some me time, and maybe starting to plan that little getaway. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Oh man, I've been there. My cousin brought her little terrors over last Christmas, and it was like a tornado hit the living room. I gently suggested some quiet time and got the cold shoulder for days. It's tough, but you're not a playground supervisor on your birthday. Comment 2. Hey, it sounds like you handled a tough situation with grace. It's never easy to set boundaries with family, but it's important for your peace of mind. Good on you for talking it out with your sister and the kids. Keep that communication open and enjoy planning that getaway. Now, for the next story. My husband, 38-year-old male, and I, 38-year-old female, have 3 kids, our daughter Christiana, 13-year-old female, and Liam, 8-year-old male, and Sarah, 2-year-old female. Christiana has a boyfriend, Colden, 13-year-old male. Colden is a good kid. He plays baseball, is an A student, and is a sweet boy. I also know that him and his friends call each other out when they do something bad. He's told me stories about how him and his friends called out one of their friends for saying something trans-unfriendly. They do this by roasting each other sometimes, but it encourages good behaviour. Colden sometimes goes to my husband and I for advice. A few months ago, he came to us after his friends roasted him for a racially insensitive comment he made. You could tell he was remorseful. We live in a very privileged area, and it can be hard to see biases. The boys Colden plays baseball with have shaped him into a phenomenal young man. Yesterday night, Colden and Christiana were in her room together. My husband and I were on the porch watching Liam and Sarah play in the yard. Suddenly, we are interrupted by Colden storming out of the house, and he was walking angrily. We tried to stop him since he didn't have a coat and was wearing shorts. We told him to come inside and asked what was wrong. He kept walking for a bit before turning back, walked in our house shivering and asked for some hot cocoa. He told us that there was this boy in their grade who Colden found out that Christiana was bullying. He said the boy was a feminine straight guy. He has short hair and doesn't dress feminine, but he's a Swiftie, is openly emotional, and he listed a few other things about him. He said our daughter was calling this boy gay and telling his girlfriend that he's probably cheating on her with a boy. He said he doesn't know the boy well, but it bugged him that she was doing this. He said he didn't want to report our daughter, though, as he didn't want to ruin his relationship with her. We suggested to him that he considered reporting it, but he said he didn't feel comfortable doing so. Once he had calmed down, we let him watch TV in the living room while we talked to our daughter. She was unapologetic. She said that she was just stating how she felt and that we couldn't punish her for that. We told her that she was grounded and took her devices away. After cooling down a bit ourselves, my husband and I discussed our plans, and we decided to email the principals and admin at her school. The school is currently investigating this further, but has already found evidence that her and her entire friend group was bullying this boy after just a day of looking, and she's facing serious consequences. Our daughter said we were being snitches and said that we are ruining her social life. Am I the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I'm pretty sure ruining her social life is called parenting outside of the teen years. Not the idiot, but I would have done it anonymously. Maybe I'm a wimp though. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Tell your daughter you're happy to ruin her social life if it keeps her and her friends from ruining this boy's actual life. Now, for the update. A lot has happened since I last shared about the situation with Christiana and Colden. The past month has been a roller coaster of emotions and tough parenting decisions, and I've learned a lot about my daughter and the complexities of teenage relationships. After we emailed the school about Christiana's bullying, things escalated quickly. The school took the matter seriously, and within a few days they had gathered enough evidence to take disciplinary action. Christiana was suspended for a week, and her friend group received various punishments as well. The boy they had targeted was offered counselling, and the school held an assembly about bullying and its consequences. Christiana was furious with us. She felt betrayed and couldn't understand why we, her parents, had gone against her. She accused us of siding with Colden and said we were ruining her life. It was heartbreaking to see her so upset, but we stood firm on our decision. We explained that bullying was unacceptable and that we had to do what was right, even if it was difficult. Colden, on the other hand, was torn. He felt guilty for causing trouble for Christiana, but also relieved that the bullying had stopped. He thanked us for taking action, but it was clear that his relationship with Christiana had suffered. They barely spoke for weeks, and when they did, it was tense and awkward. As for my husband and I, we were struggling too. We questioned whether we had made the right choice, whether we should have handled things differently. We worried about Christiana's well-being and her future. It was a tough time for our family, and it put a strain on our marriage. We had to work hard to communicate and support each other through this. During Christiana's suspension, we spent a lot of time talking with her about her actions and the impact they had on others. It was a slow and often frustrating process, but eventually she began to show some remorse. She wrote a letter of apology to the boy she had bullied, and although it was a small step, it was a start. As the weeks passed, Christiana's suspension ended, and she returned to school. It was a difficult transition, and her social life had indeed taken a hit. Some of her friends had turned on her, blaming her for getting them in trouble. She felt isolated and alone, which was tough to watch as a parent. Colden and Christiana's relationship remained strained, but they started talking again. It was clear that they cared about each other, but the trust that had been broken was not easily repaired. Colden continued to be a positive influence, encouraging Christiana to make amends and be better. In the end, the whole experience brought some unexpected changes. Christiana started to make new friends, ones who weren't part of her old group. She joined a club at school that focused on kindness and inclusivity, which seemed to be a positive outlet for her. She was slowly rebuilding her reputation and learning from her mistakes. Colden and Christiana never got back to where they were before, but they found a new kind of friendship. They were more like allies now, supporting each other in being better people. It wasn't the romantic relationship they once had, but it was something meaningful nonetheless. As for my husband and me, we learned a lot about being parents to a teenager. We realized that sometimes we have to make tough decisions that our kids won't understand or appreciate until much later. We also learned the importance of open communication and standing united in our values. The whole ordeal was a bittersweet resolution to a difficult chapter in our lives. We lost some of the innocence we had about our daughter, but we gained a deeper understanding of her and a stronger family bond. It wasn't easy, but it was a necessary part of growing up for all of us. Now for the comments. Comment 1. You did the right thing. Bullying is a serious issue, and it's important to nip it in the bud. It's tough love, but Christiana needs to learn that actions have consequences. You're teaching her a valuable lesson, and she'll thank you later in life for helping her grow into a responsible adult. Comment 2. Oh boy, you've entered the parenting Thunderdome. But seriously, you're not the bad guys here. You're like the superhero parents who swoop in to save the day, even if the villain is your own kiddo. Christiana will get over it, and hey, maybe she'll even score a hit single about life lessons learned. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.